All right, let's go back to the presidential election of 2016. The polls were leaning one way, the results came in another, and the next thing you know, Twitter became a dumpster fire. It was about that time, three guys got together to see if there was some way for people, instead of spitting vitriol at each other on social media, to come together in person, to talk, to better understand each other. They formed a group called Braver Angels. One of the founders of that group is a marriage counselor, and he likened America at the time and its political polarization to a couple on the verge of divorce, where we are still legally linked, we even share the same bank account, but we're not exactly sleeping in the same room or even in the same house. And to take this analogy even further, there are kids involved in this relationship, and they're part of a split custody arrangement, and one of those parents on their weekends is causing turmoil by accusing those kids of taking sides. And that is just one way to describe the GOP in Idaho right now. Anyway, a few weekends ago, the Braver Angels had a seminar in Garden City. And the goal wasn't to, quote, save the marriage, as Andrew Bartline found out, but to at least show that salvation is possible through communication and understanding.
Okay, so
if you thought civically engaged citizens
we're just about ready to get started.
had plenty to pen on politics,
Make sure that the person you're sitting next to does not have the same color name tag as you.
well, not even scalding cups of caffeine can melt this ice.
The right will win when it becomes.
But behind the comfort of a keyboard,
It is us or them.
political posturing
Is this January 6th?
is plentiful as ever.
If the right doesn't fight, we won't have a home at all.
Those who get their news from right-wing sources.
Keyboard warriors run daily discourse.
I want Idaho to be so conservative and based that liberals never, ever feel comfortable living here.
I grew up here and have every right to feel comfortable here. Screw you.
Earth-crushing meteor is our only hope for peace.
But here,
Are we all alternating?
Rob Hansen's old-fashioned.
We need a blue here
He actually talks,
and red.
a skill shared
But I am his counterpart.
with Dan Long.
We have nothing in common. We cancel out each other's votes other than the barber. We use the same barber.
Make no mistake,
Mark and I are going to be facilitating this main part at the beginning.
they've used up all the hairs
I'm a blue,
they could split.
and then so all my co-folks are reds.
In this political climate,
It's
they have
this whole division in our country is
the audacity
there's something behind that. There's just there's some kind of a force that's just trying to keep us apart, and I'm working against that. I'm a carny.
Yeah.
You know carny?
Yeah. I'm
Come and
familiar.
play. Come check out my booth. Right.
Right.
As soon as I get him in the booth, I'm done.
Count to three for me.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, at the camera. Okay.
welcome
Me?
Okay.
to the booth.
To retrain my brain.
My name is Janice Fulkerson.
I'm Stephen Bannock.
My name is Patricia Nilsson.
My name is Peter Oliver.
I lean fiscally conservative,
I'm an independent, but I lean red. And I'm a member of the Republican Party.
and I'm socially liberal.
And I registered to be a Democrat when I turned 18 years old.
And why are you here today?
For that very reason, I want to ask questions.
What issues are important to them?
And so I want to bring that out.
At least hear what the other side is thinking. I want people to know where I'm coming from. I want to know where they're coming from, because there may not be an absolute truth.
A truth they do know
Mindless, hateful thugs like the leftoids.
is division.
The right is too busy fighting with itself to govern.
The goal of this exercise is
But the Braver Angels are a bridge,
to see if there's any common ground.
and their flagship's founder
Was a marriage counselor.
built it out of his practice.
And they knew that if a husband and wife could not communicate, couldn't talk, there was no hope to save the marriage. And they saw that in the country.
Do you think vows can be renewed?
You know, maybe it breaks down at that point, but maybe a vow of respect and dignity and honesty with each other. Let's go. The blues in the other room.
Out of touch?
Or even
Don't work lazy, is that similar?
Yeah, don't worry.
honesty
Unpatriotic kind of sums up all three of those, doesn't it?
with yourself.
That we want open borders.
The first step is separation.
Good list.
It's a chance for each side to talk openly,
You guys are kind of damaged people.
alone.
Each person gets 4 votes.
It's where the blues,
Okay, I got my 4.
stereotype,
Where's baby killers?
the blues.
Now we're diving deep.
Highly overeducated eggheads.
Unpatriotic.
The cancel culture is a thing, and it's bad.
No problems. Peeling back the blue curtain.
Okay, so...
And on the other side of society...
what they think of us.
They're seeing red.
Gun-toting.
Emotional terrorist.
Very stubborn in their beliefs.
And you can put redneck down there if you want.
Ironically whittled down through a round robin.
Lock in your 3 votes.
Resembling ranked choice.
1.
To a cardinal 4.
Racist, sexist, intolerant. Anti-science. Anti-environment.
Even anti-people.
So not caring?
Heartless. Heartless.
All right.
It's a self-reflection.
If they are, okay.
Not for their sake, but for a marriage sake.
I got some more hot coffee.
It's where the reds and blues meet back in the middle.
Did you have as much fun as we did?
Oh, we did.
Each equipped with a focus.
To share what you learned and what you found in common.
For honest discussion.
We thought about saying pro-abortion, but we wanted to really go stereotype here.
If you don't think stereotypes exist for a reason...
Can we admit a kernel of truth there?
Then this part hurts.
Yeah, there probably are cases where people use it as birth control. Our intuitions aren't that that's appropriate. We're not for that.
We're looking to validate our views, and through that, which can be categorized as a narrow-minded focus, we could ignore science.
And it's also true that in our educational institutions, in our universities, there has been a liberal shift in the faculty and the administration.
And maybe we can be a little insensitive. So we put tough love.
We believe that, yes, social institutions, that's great, whether they're religious or they're like Rotary Club or other social institutions, yeah, provide those safety nets, but sometimes government also needs to step in.
There are some of us who are racist, sexist, and intolerant.
The blue model of patriotism doesn't exactly match the red model.
We don't just take everything hook, line, and sinker. We question it.
That's the sound.
Perfect, thanks.
Of crucial conversations. A different tone.
We should divide this country.
From playing the mobile keyboard.
That could make it hard for the other group to really listen to what you are saying.
It's all a different point of view.
Okay, the fishbowl questions.
One group's on the inside.
Not just study things to death and talk about things.
While the others are left out.
And find ways to support humans and humanity.
Simple rules are harder than you think.
Strong red until 8 years ago.
When the others...
I'm not chattel.
Talk directly to you.
And if we're going to force women to make babies and not have good social services in place, we are hypocrites.
And she said exactly what I would have said, and it brought me to tears.
There's connection in the nuance.
You take the worst that you've seen from the other side and you apply that to the whole group. And on issues like that are so complicated and so personal and so life impacting, it's just a total disservice to the issue because there's so much more there.
We just solve it in a different way.
Mm-hmm. Maybe the tough love is not seeing some of the problems.
Engaging is a service to each other.
I thought it was interesting that we're both questioning these things.
Where the red-blue relationship is reeling in our state and nation.
The Reds are often saying, get government out of it, get government out of it. But then when it comes to abortion, it's like, oh no, let's put government in it.
Science is rooted in skepticism.
Our mass-scale secular matrimony can be renewed.
You know, on the right side, there are certain factions that are keeping government from functioning.
Yeah.
And on the left side, there's such a wide variety of ideas that they can't focus.
Yeah. Someone brave enough just has to reach across the aisle.
I could say I 100% agree.
To catch hope.
It wasn't a small, like, I'm 80% I agree with you. It was, she said what I could have said. It was lovely.
Weddings are known to be captured in a single moment.
All right, we're going to do a group photo.
Bringing in something old, something new, something borrowed, something red.
Should we kiss for the picture?
And blue.
I have hope. I do have hope.
Listening to each other, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to change your minds.
The kernel of truth kind of forced us to see things through other people's eyes.
Everybody wants individual rights, and everybody wants a healthy community.
They may not have used the exact same words, but they were talking about the same concepts.
There's definitely some areas where we can all work harder.
Be curious, not judgmental.
So I'm hopeful in that degree.
1, 2, 3, smile. Awesome. Well, we're in this thing together. We really are.
Thank you all.
The organization was founded on the principles of President Lincoln. Their namesake is even drawn from his first inaugural address in 1861. At that time, Lincoln was calling for unity across the country. It was just a month before the start of the American Civil War. The country has since remarried, but that doesn't mean that we don't fight. This just shows, Brian, that you can get real people in a room to talk to each other.
Sure.
Get off Twitter, touch some grass.
Right.
And you might find out that the person that you think is awful, you might have some in common with them.
The worst of the worst, right, exactly. You could think that until you meet them in person. You were there for hours on a Saturday. Yeah. What did you take from this? I mean, I hate to be so general, but what did you take from this?
I mean, when the Republicans said that the Democrats think we're heartless, and so many people in the room at the same time said heartless, like in unison, they thought of the same word at the same time, that's pretty sad that they all agreed that the other side thinks that of them. Because I don't think that's true. And I think if you really think about yourself personally, you don't think that's true.
But if you get your information from social media like that, you see that, and sometimes you think, well, they actually wear it like a badge of honor.
Yeah. You know, and some of those generous people I know are very wealthy business people who are Reds. But on the flip side of it, the Democrats, I mean, they voted on everything. Baby killers was the #1 thing. They truly thought that the Reds believe they are for killing babies.
Wow. Okay.
That was a tough thing to swallow, that they honestly believed that the other side thought that of them.